pertaining proposals which must be examined by those of us in the legislature. We may end up very favorably disposed to some and not to others, but in any case, this is a man who is looking ahead to our state's future. I think it's important that as he went through those remarks, everyone realized that there was bipartisan recognition of what he was asking for. And I think it's an exciting evening for all of Ohio.
Senator? Thank you. I have said this many times before, and it's always a pleasure to work with a governor who's willing to lead. You got to see a bit of John Kasich's heart tonight, and I think that that will make a difference as to where we've been and certainly where we'll be going in the future in the state of Ohio. Right now, we have a lot of challenges and opportunities in the state. We came into 2 years ago where we had to turn things around. As the governor said, we went from an $8 billion budget deficit to a place to where trains are running on time and we're starting to have some opportunities and options. That's going to be the discussion in the General Assembly now as we go forward in the next few months. And certainly we see a plan and a vision, and I think the Senate definitely shares a vision to make sure we build and move Ohio forward. And from that perspective, we're going to study the governor's proposals with great detail, great enthusiasm, and frankly, we look forward to working with the governor.
Questions?
The governor made quite an impassioned plea for the expansion of Medicaid. Can you speak to whether either one of you were moved by that to the point that you are now willing to say you're supportive?
I think it's very important for us to understand what the breadth of this proposal is, as well as what the governor pointed to. This is a very huge step. And our problem, of course, in examining it is that in the near future, if the federal government continues to operate the way it has for the past several years, they may or may not have the money to live up to the obligations that they have told the people they're going to do. And I think we have to be very, very careful about that. This state is growing, this state is prospering, and we do not need to hold hands with an organization that may not be part of that, but rather something quite different. We do not know at this point in time which direction the federal government will be going in the near future.
But you don't know that for another 2-3 years, according to the federal government plan. Are you going to wait that long?
Well, I think we'll have a little more vision than that. I've been there 35 years. In that time, I've seen the federal government enter into relationships with the state, which led to disappointment. I think we will have an opportunity before then to come to some clarity about what they're asking for and what they mean.
President Faber, your thoughts?
Well, I think the Speaker said it well. I think everybody shares the compassion that the governor has, and I think we need to take a look at what the meaning of the expansion proposed by Washington is. And I think a lot of people are concerned about whether you're handcuffing yourself into a system that you may not be able to get out of if it doesn't work like it's been promised. And so I think we need to do a full and complete analysis of that. And as we go through this analysis, we'll look at options. And one of those discussions that we have is what are our options? And I know what people believe Washington says our options are, but I don't know if we're done talking there. And so we'll continue to look at it, we'll continue to study it. And from that perspective, the short answer to your question is no, I don't know that we're any closer to a decision on that. We haven't had the complete analysis, the complete debate, and the complete discussion that I think we need to before you go into something so major.
It's for both leaders. In the next 10 days, we may have $85 billion in sequester cuts that roll out to the nation. Ohio's going to catch its fair share of that. What are your thoughts on the impact of the Ohio budget? Does that neutralize or mute everything the governor talked about today?
I would have to say that I was shocked and embarrassed listening to the president this morning. Who does he think proposed this? It must have been someone on Mars. The bottom line is that at this point in time, we have no idea what this thing amounts to by the time you look at the defense budget and other things, the impact it's going to have. And I think that it takes a lot of gall for him to speak as if somebody else ought to come on and rescue the proposal that he's put forward and adhered to. And I have no idea what will happen in the near future, but I am very concerned for our state citizens.
Obviously, we're concerned. You need to look no farther than the tank plant right here in Lima, my next door neighbor who works there, or you need to look no farther than Wright Pack, which is a major infrastructure in Ohio. So we're concerned, and I think it's important that the President lead in Washington and that the Congress lead. Their solution has been to kick the can down the road. Well, there's no more road. It's time for them to lead or frankly, get out of the way. And we've been doing things in the state to show that leadership. And from that perspective, I think they need to come together. But make no mistake, I don't think it's good for Ohio to continue to have a federal government that borrows and spends money we don't have. And so they need to figure out the solution to live within their means, just like the state had to live within our means. We did it, and you're seeing the results. You're seeing a growth in the state economy that's starting to make a difference. And I believe if we do the same thing and be responsible, we won't continue to do what many people believe is immoral, including me, and pass extra debt, extra expenses onto the next generation, including my 5-year-old and my 7-year-old.